It is increasingly looking like President Biden is doing battle with members of his own party as much as he is Donald Trump. The president's loyalists from Hollywood to Capitol Hill, including some notable names, now riding that deep wave of concern over the president's ability to go the distance against Donald Trump, with not just the presidency but control of Congress potentially at stake. There's been no change of heart from President Biden, who has made it clear he is still in the race. The president remaining visible today and in charge, hosting NATO leaders, all while new pressure for him to exit the race from some of his most prominent backers swirls around him. Senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has late details.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Tonight, while hosting dozens of world leaders at the NATO summit in Washington, President Biden is promoting unity and strength.
Today, we're stronger than we've ever been.
But that message comes as the president faces fresh calls to leave the race. Today, one of his most prominent Hollywood backers going off script. George Clooney, who hosted a star-studded fundraiser for the president just 3 weeks ago, writing a guest essay in the New York Times, arguing we are not going to win in November with this president, and urging Democrats to coalesce behind a new nominee. The actor making the case that the president he spent time with at the fundraiser had changed from prior elections, and that night was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. And this morning, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi became the highest-ranking Democrat to signal he could still drop out.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
A striking statement, considering the president has repeatedly said he has decided.
I'm staying in the race.
Pelosi later clarifying she still supports the president.
President Biden, is Nancy Pelosi still behind you, sir?
Still, top House Democrat Hakeem Jeffries has told worried lawmakers that he plans to relay their concerns to President Biden, four sources confirmed to NBC News. And senior Biden advisors are now set to brief Democratic senators at a special caucus luncheon tomorrow, after Michael Bennet of Colorado became the first sitting senator to say this publicly.
Donald Trump is on track, I think, to win this election and maybe win it by a landslide and take with him the Senate and the House.
The question now, will the floodgates open on Capitol Hill?
I am deeply concerned about Joe Biden winning this November. We have to reach a conclusion as soon as possible.
ABC's George Stephanopoulos apparently reaching his own conclusion, now acknowledging he should not have said this in a video posted on TMZ just days after interviewing the president.
What do you think? Do you think Biden should step down? You talked to him more than anybody else have lately, and you could be honest.
Tonight, the Biden campaign is promising more unscripted events to convince lawmakers, donors, and voters that the president is all in.
And Gabe, there's late word from Capitol Hill tonight about subpoenas regarding the president's health.
Yes, Lester, late today, the Republican-led House Oversight Committee said it had subpoenaed 3 senior White House aides, demanding they sit for depositions regarding the president's mental fitness. The White House is calling it a baseless political stunt. Lester?
All right, Gabe, thank you. And join us Monday when I interview President Biden exclusively from the LBJ Presidential Library. The complete conversation airs in a primetime special starting at 9 p.m. Eastern as Savannah Guthrie and I lead our coverage for the start of the Republican convention. And former President Trump, ahead of that convention, is back on the trail and, as Garrett Haake explains, trying to capitalize on the newfound turmoil in the race.
Former President Donald Trump back on the campaign trail overnight, newly lashing out at President Biden's debate performance.
Joe's own party now wants him to throw in the towel and surrender the presidency after a single 90-minute performance.
Mr. Trump suggesting without evidence that President Biden's poor debate performance was the culmination of a collapsing Democratic cover-up.
They are all co-conspirators in the sinister plot to defraud the American public about the cognitive abilities of the man in the Oval Office.
The former president faced questions about his own mental fitness from within his own party as recently as the GOP primary.
But when you're dealing with the pressures of a presidency, we can't have someone else that we question whether they're mentally fit to do this.
Mr. Trump previewing the platform he'll promote at next week's Republican convention.
And on day one, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. We have no choice.
And teasing his upcoming choice of a running mate, expected to come from a short list that includes Florida Senator Marco Rubio.
We know who our nominee is. He's going to be the next president of the United States, and his name is...
In a radio interview today, Mr. Trump said he was, quote, pretty well set on his VP selection, but might wait even until the convention opens next week to announce his choice, drawing out the drama for maximum political impact. Lester?
All right, Garrett, Haake, thank you. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.